Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are going to make you uncomfortable. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but we're going to take two things that, usually sit in completely different boxes in your brain.
Totally separate worlds.
Religion and life hacks. And we're going to smash them together until they break.
It really is a collision, isn't it? Because normally when we talk about theology, we're talking about ethics, the afterlife, morality.
Sure.
But today, we're looking at a source that treats Scripture less like a Bible and more like a circuit board.
Exactly. So let's set the stage here. Our deep dive today is based on the work of a man named Osman.
Right.
He goes by the moniker, the blind Muslim yogi, or sometimes the man from Oz.
And just that title alone.
Right off the bat, that title is a paradox.
It's a complete contradiction in terms.
It is. Because if you know anything about, say, Orthodox Islam, you know that yoga isn't exactly a traditional practice.
No, not at all.
And if you know anything about Islamic theology, you know that magic or sorcery, it's strictly forbidden. It's a major sin.
Haram. Oh, it's one of the grave sins, absolutely.
But Osman explicitly claims that the Quran is, and I'm quoting here, the biggest book of magic in existence.
Wow.
He's not saying it's poetry. He's not saying it's metaphorical. He is saying it is a book of spells.
Well, and let's be careful with that word spells, because I think he would probably correct us.
Okay,
He'd likely say technology. But yes, you're right. To the layperson, what he's describing sounds like magic.
Right.
He's talking about using specific sounds to produce very specific physical results.
So my question for you, even before we get into who this guy is how does he get away with this? I mean, is he a heretic?
That's the fascinating part. He doesn't position himself as a theologian. He positions himself as a scientific healer.
A scientific healer.
Yeah. He's not coming at this as a mystic in a cave, though
Yeah.
he has, elements of that. He's coming at it like a biohacker. He claims to use principles of quantum entanglement and bioenergy. So he argues that what religion calls miracles and what science is starting to call quantum mechanics are actually the same mechanism.
Just described in different languages.
Exactly. Different languages for the same thing.
Okay, so he's trying to bridge the gap between, let's say, a Huberman Lab podcast on neurology and a sermon you'd hear at a mosque.
That is a perfect way to frame it. I mean, think about why you listen to Huberman Lab or The Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett.
Optimize.
To optimize. You want to learn how to fix your sleep, your focus, your anxiety.
Right.
Osman is offering the exact same thing. Protocols for anxiety, for recovery, for focus. But his tools aren't ice baths or supplements.
His tools are ancient verses.
Ancient verses used as vibrational codes.
This sounds bold.
It is audacious, to say the least.
So who is this guy? Because if you're going to claim you can fix my anxiety telepathically, which, by the way, we will get to.
Oh, we will.
You better have a resume.
His resume is extensive. And frankly, it reads like the protagonist of a fantasy novel.
Tuckles. Okay.
Osman describes himself as a master-level bioenergy healer. And he's very, very specific about what that means.
What does it mean?
He specializes in critical care, recovery, and terminal illnesses.
So he's not the guy you go to for a headache.
No. He positions himself as the person you go to when the medical system says, look, we've done all we can.
The last resort.
Kind of. And it's important to note, and he stresses this constantly, he is not a replacement for doctors.
Right, it's complementary.
It's complementary.
Yeah.
But he claims a very high success rate in these hopeless cases.
And he's been doing this for 50 years.
Half a century.
Wow.
He claims to have studied, everything. Far Eastern philosophy, Middle Eastern mysticism, Western science. He says he's extracted the best from all these different schools of thought.
There's a specific detail in his bio that really, it just stopped me in my tracks. He claims to have achieved samadhi at age 19.
Yes, that's a big one.
Now, for the listener who thinks samadhi is just a brand of tea, can we break this down? What does that actually mean?
We absolutely need to slow down for this because it's crucial. It's key to understanding his authority, or at least the authority he claims.
Okay.
Samadhi is a Sanskrit term. You hear it a lot in yoga, and it refers to a state of intense spiritual absorption. It's the peak.
The mountaintop.
It is the mountaintop. It's where the observer and the observed just merge. In Yogananda's book, Autobiography of a Yogi, this state is described as the ultimate goal.
And it usually takes a lifetime.
A lifetime. decades of isolation, meditation, and usually a guru. You need a teacher to perform an initiation.
That's the Shaktipat, right?
Correct. Shaktipat.
Explain that to me like I'm 5 years old. What is Shaktipat?
Okay. Imagine your nervous system is a garden hose.
Got it.
But it's an old hose. It's been coiled up in the sun for 20 years. It has kinks in it, blockages.
Right.
Now, this energy, call it prana or ki or bioenergy, is the water. If you turn the water on full blast in that old kinked hose, what happens?
It's going to jump all over the place or it's going to burst.
Exactly, it bursts. So a guru usually acts as the regulator. They use Shaktipat to manually unkink the hose, or they carefully control the water pressure so you don't blow a fuse.
They manage the energy flow?
They break the knots in your energy system, specifically, he says, in the root, the heart, and the third eye.
But Osman says he didn't have a guru.
No guru. He had no regulator.
So how did he not blow a fuse?
He claims he did it through sheer physical intensity.
What, like working out?
Basically, yeah. He was a martial artist. He played tennis. He jogged. He practiced yoga. He talks about training for up to 18 hours a day at certain points in his life.
18 hours.
18, yes. He essentially built such a strong hose, such a robust physical vessel, that when the energy finally rushed in, his body could handle the pressure without the guru's help.
That's intense. It reminds me of those stories about Bruce Lee or, the Shaolin monks.
It does.
Just this absolute physical mastery that then leads to a spiritual breakthrough.
It's a very masculine path to enlightenment. If you think about it, it's force, it's discipline. He calls it sharpening the sword.
I like that.
Even now, after 50 years of practice, he says he practices 8 to 10 hours a day.
Trying to maintain.
Just to stay sharp. So when we talk about him offering hacks, I really want the listener to understand this. These aren't shortcuts he found on Google.
Right.
These are distillations from a guy who has arguably put in more reps than anyone else in the room.
And he calls himself the blind Muslim yogi. Is he actually blind?
The source material uses it as a moniker. It's his brand.
Okay.
It likely refers to the idea of inner sight, or maybe that blind swordsman archetype.
Someone who doesn't need physical eyes to see the truth.
Exactly. Or, it could be literal, but in the context of the man from Oz and his telepathic claims, it really emphasizes that he operates in the non-visible spectrum.
Okay. So we have this powerhouse of a figure, a 50-year veteran of bioenergy. And he looks at Islam and he says, we're doing it wrong.
Or at least we're leaving the best tools on the table.
Let's talk about the paradox of magic then, because this is where the listener might start to get skeptical.
Sure.
If I go to a mosque and I ask the imam for a magic spell to fix my credit score,
Chuckles.
he's going to kick me out.
Rightfully so, in the Orthodox view. Sorcery is about manipulating the will of God or other people for selfish gain. It's black magic.
But Osman says the Quran is white magic.
He reframes the definition. For Osman, white magic is transformative power.
Transformative power.
It is the ability to change your internal state so radically that the external world has to align with it. He uses this great analogy of the 5 companions.
This is a beautiful image, I thought.
It is. He says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Right, that's a standard business cliche. You hear that from Tony Robbins or on the School of Greatness.
Show me your friends. I'll show you your future.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Osman asks, who are his 5 friends? He says his 5 closest friends, the ones he has never abandoned in 20 years, are the 5 daily prayers.
He treats the prayers as living entities.
In a way, yes, or at the very least as active relationships. He says when he engages with these friends, the heart speaks.
What does that mean, the heart speaks? Is that just poetic fluff?
No, I don't think so. I think he's describing a physiological mechanism.
Yeah.
He says you can come to the prayer in a state of absolute chaos. Heartbreak, financial ruin, just pure panic. Your cortisol is spiking. Your heart rate variability is trash.
You're in fight or flight.
You are deep in the sympathetic nervous system red zone. But then, he says, you engage this companion, you recite the words, you do the movements, and suddenly the heart speaks, the tears come, the pressure releases.
And the problem disappears.
The internal problem disappears. The bill is still sitting on the counter.
Right.
But your reaction to it shifts from panic to peace.
So in scientific terms, he's using the prayer as a kind of vagus nerve stimulator.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. He's shifting the body from sympathetic, the fight or flight, to parasympathetic, rest and digest.
Oh, okay.
And because he's an energy healer, he would also argue he's clearing the bioenergy field of all the static caused by that stress.
So to him, that rapid shift feels like magic.
It feels like magic.
Okay, I can buy that. That makes sense to
Yeah.
me. Meditation does that.
Right.
Breathing exercises do that.
Right.
But Osman goes further. He says specific verses act like incantations or codes for specific outcomes.
And this is where we get into the toolkit. And I want to pause here because this really is the core of the episode for the listener.
Okay.
Osman is essentially giving us open source code. He says, you don't have to be Muslim to use this.
Which is a huge claim.
It's massive. He compares it to a Hindu mantra. You know, if you listen to a show like Buddha at the gas pump, you'll hear people talk about the syllable
Yeah.
You don't have to be Hindu to chant The vibration of the sound calms the body regardless of your belief system.
It's physics, not theology.
That is Osman's entire argument. He says the Arabic sounds in the Quran are a sonic technology. Even if you don't understand the words, the vibration itself does the work.
He mentions hearing a recitation before he was Muslim and just weeping, right?
Yes. He felt a cleansing effect just from the sound alone with no intellectual understanding. So he offers these tools to everyone.
Okay, let's walk through them. Tool number 1, the smooth day protocol.
This involves Surah Yasin. It's a specific chapter in the Quran.
Okay.
And Osman claims that reciting this in the morning makes the day easy.
Now, easy is pretty vague. Does he mean I'm going to win the lottery?
No. And this is why I love his analogy here. He calls it the silk dress versus the thorn bush.
Explain this to me.
Okay. Visualize your day tomorrow. You got the commute, the angry emails, you spill coffee on your shirt. That whole thing is a thorn bush.
Okay, sounds about right.
You have to walk through it. There's no path around it.
Okay, I'm walking through the thorns.
If you walk through it in your normal state, you're wearing a silk dress. You are fragile. You are reactive. Every single thorn snags you. You tear the dress. You get scratched. By 5 p.m., you are just ragged. That is a hard day.
I feel like I've lived that day 1,000 times.
We all have. Now, Osman says if you run the protocol, if you recite Surah Yasin in the morning, you don't remove the thorns. The thorns are still there.
The boss is still angry.
The boss is still angry. The traffic is still bad. But you change.
How?
It's like you are suddenly coated in Teflon. You glide through the bush. The thorns touch you, but they don't snag you.
You just slide past them.
You slide past them. You get to the other side, and the silk dress is intact.
That is a very compelling image. It's like changing your friction coefficient with reality.
Exactly. And he says he tested this scientifically on himself. He skipped the recitation for a few days. He said the drag returned immediately. The friction came back. The days became abrasive again.
So to him, this isn't worship in the sense of bowing down to a deity to avoid hell. It's worship as a functional utility.
Yeah.
I do this because I want a smooth day.
It's incredibly pragmatic. He calls it result-based. Everything has to be result-based.
Okay, tool number 2, the trap breaker. This is for the listener who feels stuck.
This is the Jonah verse, or the prayer of Yunus.
We all know the story of Jonah and the whale, but usually it's told as a children's story, with a cartoon whale.
Right. But Osman strips away that cartoonish element. I mean, think about the archetypal horror of that situation.
Yeah.
Jonah is swallowed. He is in total darkness. He is constricted. He is helpless. There is no physical way out.
He is literally in the belly of the beast.
And Osman argues that many of us are in the whale right now. Maybe it's debt. Maybe it's a toxic marriage. Maybe it's a job where you feel like the boss just owns you. You are trapped.
I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling.
So Osman says this specific prayer, the words Jonah used in the dark, is the frequency key to unlock that trap. He claims that with patience and faith, reciting this breaks the control others have over you. It forces the whale to spit you out.
That's a big promise, breaking the control others have over you.
It is. And again, he would argue this operates on a bioenergetic level. When you feel trapped, your energy actually creates a cage.
You project victimhood.
You project stuckness, yeah. And changing that vibration changes how the world is able to interact with you.
Okay, then we have tool number 3, telepathy.
Yes. Verse 62.
This is where the skeptics are going to roll their eyes. He says he can heal people remotely.
He says he uses the first half of verse 62. He recites it, he focuses on the person, and he sends the energy.
And why that's?
He claims the recipient feels peace or heat or a sense of presence, even if they are on the other side of the planet.
And he calls this quantum entanglement.
which is a buzzword, I know, sure.
Yeah.
But if you look at the work being done in consciousness studies, people like Dean Radin or some of the discussions on the Joe Rogan Experience about consciousness extending beyond the brain,
Right.
Osman is just applying a religious framework to that same concept. He believes we are all connected in a unified field.
And the verse is just?
The verse is just the address label for the energy packet he's sending.
It's funny. If a Silicon Valley tech bro told me he was sending positive vibes via the quantum field, I'd probably just nod.
Chuckles. You probably would.
But because it's a guy named Osman quoting the Quran, my internal guard goes up.
And that's a bias we have to acknowledge, right? We're so used to manifestation from The Secret. We're used to vibes from Instagram influencers.
Right.
Osman is basically doing the same thing, but his source canon is 1,400 years old.
Now, I want to pivot here because we've talked about the good magic, the stuff that helps you. But Osman has a warning. And this part actually scared me a little.
The smartphone theory.
Yeah. This connects directly to the mental health crisis we're seeing. We have more anxiety than ever before.
Oh, absolutely.
And usually we blame it on the news or social media comparison or dopamine burnout.
Which are all valid points. But Osman has a different diagnosis, a much deeper one.
What is it?
He argues that we are accidentally triggering spiritual awakenings that we are not ready for.
He specifically mentions Kundalini.
Yes, and we need to define that carefully. In the yoga tradition, Kundalini is a dormant, incredibly powerful energy coiled at the base of the spine.
Evolutionary energy.
It's evolutionary energy. If it wakes up and travels up the spine correctly to the brain, you get enlightenment. You get samadhi.
That sounds great. Sign me up.
It does sound great, but, and this is a huge but, if it wakes up and your body isn't ready, if that hose is kinked,
It bursts.
it burns you out. It can cause psychosis, intense anxiety, tremors, panic attacks. It is dangerous.
I've heard stories about this.
Yeah, Gopi Krishna wrote about this extensively in his books, The Physical Torment of a Kundalini Awakening That Goes Wrong.
So what do smartphones have to do with any of this?
Think about what you do on your phone. You stare at it.
Yeah.
For 8, 10, 12 hours a day, you are hyper-focused on a single point of light.
It's a form of concentration.
It is dharana. It is one-pointed concentration. I mean, the very definition of mindfulness is keeping the mind in the present on one thing. Osman argues that the modern human is practicing an intense, prolonged form of meditation on the screen.
We're meditating on the algorithm.
Exactly. And that intense focus generates energy. It revs the engine. It starts to wake up the Kundalini.
Okay.
But are we doing the yoga?
No. We are slouched on the couch.
Are we doing the breathing exercises? No. In fact, we're holding our breath. They call it tech apnea.
So we are generating high voltage energy in a body that is stiff, blocked, and kinked.
And that energy has nowhere to go. It travels up and it hits the blockages in the heart and the head, and it short circuits.
And that's the anxiety.
Osman says this is why we see these adverse effects. Anxiety, mental instability. It's not just that the news is bad. It's that we are running 10,000 volts through a 12-volt wire.
That is a terrifying thought. That we are all accidental mystics burning ourselves alive.
It completely reframes the idea of screen time, doesn't it?
It does.
It suggests that if you are going to use the phone that much, you must do the physical work to counterbalance it.
You have to do the yoga.
You have to sharpen the sword, otherwise the energy will eat you.
It validates his obsession with physical training. He's not just working out to look good. He's working out to insulate his own wires.
Precisely.
That's
exactly what he's doing.
I want to touch on one more experiment he mentions, the night of power. Because this illustrates the sheer physical force he believes these prayers have.
This is a great story. So the Night of Power, or Laylat al-Qadr, is the holiest night in Ramadan. The energy is said to be at its absolute peak.
And Osman, being the scientist he is, decides to run a stress test on himself.
He does. He finds this old tradition that says you should do 10 sets of prayers, and in each set, you repeat specific verses.
The mother of the Quran and the 4 verses.
Right. And you repeat them 1,000 times.
1,000 repetitions per set. That would take hours.
It's a marathon. And he wanted to do all 10 sets, but he says he only finished 1.
Why? Did he just get bored?
No. He got completely overwhelmed. He says the power was so immense, he physically had to hold onto a wall to steady himself.
He had to hold on to a wall.
Yeah, he felt like he was being crushed by the weight of the energy.
And this is a guy who has experienced samadhi. This is a guy who trains 18 hours a day at times. And he couldn't handle more than 1 set.
It just reinforces his point that these incantations are not just words. They are heavy. They are radioactive. You can't just play with them.
You have to respect the voltage.
You have to respect the voltage. It really paints a picture of religion not as just a belief system, but as a power plant.
A power plant that you can plug into, but you better have the right transformers.
Perfect analogy.
Before we wrap up, we have to talk about the practical life hacks that aren't so spiritual.
Chuckles.
The man from Oz seems to know how to hack society, too.
Well, absolutely. He's very street smart.
He has this section on community benefits. And he gives some advice to non-Muslims on how to navigate the Muslim world for, let's call them perks.
The free food hack.
He says, go to the prayer gatherings. There's always a feast.
He's not wrong. Hospitality is a huge, huge part of the culture. He says you get 2 benefits.
What are they?
The spiritual cleansing of the recitation and a free dinner. It's efficient.
It is efficient. But then he drops a financial bomb. And I want to make sure we explain this correctly because it sounds almost too good to be true.
It does.
He talks about hidden stashes of money.
Right. He suggests that if you are in financial trouble, instead of going to a bank, you should try to find a wealthy Muslim.
Why?
Because of the Islamic laws regarding interest, or riba. A devout Muslim cannot charge interest on a loan.
Okay.
And many wealthy Muslims, he mentions oil sheikhs or successful businessmen, they have a religious obligation to give charity or offer interest-free loans. It's called Card Hasan.
So the hack is, the bank wants to profit from your debt. The sheik wants to profit in the afterlife from his charity.
Exactly. And Osman points out the crucial difference in the contract terms. If you borrow from a bank and you lose your job, what does the bank do?
They crush you. They take your house. They ruin your credit.
They strip you of your dignity.
Yeah.
Osman points out that under Quranic law, if a borrower is in genuine difficulty, the lender is forbidden from harassing them.
Forbidden.
They must grant them respite. They have to wait until the borrower can actually pay.
So it's a safer loan.
It's a humane loan. Now, obviously, Osman isn't saying you can just walk up to a mansion, knock on the door, and say, give me cash.
Right. That would probably get you arrested.
He's highlighting a cultural infrastructure. He's saying that if you build relationships within this community, the financial safety net operates on completely different rules than the secular world. It's another hack for a smoother life.
It comes back to his universal application theory, doesn't it?
It does.
You don't have to be Muslim to benefit from the wisdom of the culture, just like you don't have to be Hindu to benefit from yoga.
He's a synthesizer. He takes the best from everywhere.
So let's bring this all home. We've covered the man, the magic, the tools, the dangers of smartphones, and the financial hacks. What is the big takeaway here for our listener?
For me, it's the concept of incantation as technology.
Expand on that.
We live in a world where we think technology means iPhones and AI and, things outside of us. But Osman is reminding us that we have built-in technology.
Our own bodies.
Our voice, our focus, our nervous system, we are the hardware.
We are the hardware.
And the incantations, whether it's Surah Yasin or a mantra or just a simple affirmation, that's the software code. We can program ourselves.
We don't have to just accept the thorn bush day.
No, we can code ourselves in that Teflon. We can change the friction.
And for the listener who is intrigued by Osman, where do they go? Because he has a very specific business model.
He does. He separates the teaching from the healing. If you want to learn the yoga, the meditation, the how-to, that is all free. You can find it on his YouTube channel, The Blind Muslim Yogi. He says, quote, I don't withhold information.
If you want the heavy lifting.
If you want the bioenergy healing, the telepathy, the critical care support, that is a paid premium service. He's very clear about it. My fees are not inexpensive.
You're paying for a master level specialist.
Exactly. You can find all that at his website, yogawellness786.com.
But he does offer that $5 coffee fix.
The 10-minute anxiety fix. It's a low barrier test. He basically says, try it. If it works, you know I'm real.
It's the freemium model applied to mysticism.
It is, and he does specifically ask that if you enjoy his content, you should like and subscribe to his channels. It helps him reach more people with this scientific approach to healing.
So tomorrow morning, when you wake up and you look at your phone, maybe don't stare at it for an hour. Maybe stretch. Maybe recite something.
Sharpen the sword. Don't let the rust set in.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the man from Oz. We will see you next time.